Hey everybody, welcome to Air Travel Tales. I'm your host, your name, and I am pumped to share some wild stories with you guys. We're talking about those crazy situations that happen on airplanes, the kind that make you clench your armrests and say, thank goodness I wasn't on that flight. Get ready for some turbulence, folks, because we're diving headfirst into the 7 worst situations passengers faced on planes. We've got it all. Emergency landings, unruly passengers, medical emergencies, and yes, even the dreaded lost luggage. So sit back, relax, maybe grab yourself some peanuts and a ginger ale, and get ready to be amazed by these unbelievable air travel stories. Alright folks, buckle up for this one. We're talking about a flight where the turbulence was so bad, it felt like the plane was in a mosh pit. Picture this, you're cruising at 30,000 feet, sipping your drink, maybe watching a movie, when suddenly, BAM! The plane drops like a roller coaster. Food trays are flying, luggage is tumbling from the overhead bins, and people are screaming. It's like something out of a disaster movie. Passengers said the turbulence hit so fast they didn't even have time to react. Some were thrown from their seats, hitting the ceiling. Can you imagine? The flight attendants, bless their hearts, were trying to keep everyone calm, but even they looked a little green around the gills. It was like being on a bucking bronco for what felt like an eternity. People were holding on for dear life, praying for it to end. And then, as quickly as it started, it stopped. The plane leveled out, everyone took a deep breath, and I bet you could hear a pin drop in that cabin. Talk about a white-knuckle experience. I don't know about you, but I'd need a stiff drink after that flight. Okay folks, this next story is not for the faint of heart. We're talking about an emergency landing that will leave you thanking your lucky stars you weren't on board. Imagine this. You're flying along, minding your own business, when suddenly, you hear a loud bang. The engine sputters, the plane shudders, and the lights flicker. Panic sets in. People are whispering nervously, their eyes wide with fear. Then, the captain gets on the intercom, his voice calm but serious. "Ladies and gentlemen," he says, "this is the captain speaking. We've experienced an engine failure and will be making an emergency landing." An emergency landing. Those 2 words are enough to send chills down anyone's spine. Passengers start gripping their armrests, their knuckles turning white. The flight attendants spring into action, demonstrating the brace position, their faces betraying the seriousness of the situation. The plane starts to descend and you can feel your stomach lurch. You look out the window and see the ground getting closer and closer. It feels like an eternity, but finally, the plane touches down on the runway. The wheels screech, smoke billows, but everyone on board erupts in cheers and applause. They made it. They survived an emergency landing. Talk about a close call. Alright folks, we've all been there. Stuck on a long flight, cramped seats, crying babies. You know the drill. But this next story takes the cake when it comes to annoying passengers. We're talking about a full-on midair meltdown that would make even the most patient person lose their cool. This wasn't just someone hogging the armrest, folks. This was the ultimate battle for airplane etiquette. It all started innocently enough. Maybe the passenger was tired. Maybe they had one too many mini bottles of wine, who knows. But whatever it was, they were about to unleash their fury on the unsuspecting passengers around them. First, it was the yelling. Loud, obnoxious yelling about the most ridiculous things like the temperature of the air conditioning or the quality of the pretzels. Then, it escalated to arguing with the flight attendants, demanding special treatment and generally being a nuisance. People were trying to ignore it, but this passenger was on a one-way trip to Crazy Town and they were taking everyone on board with them. Finally, other passengers had enough. They started yelling back, telling the unruly passenger to sit down and shut up. It was like a scene straight out of Jerry Springer. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a plastic spork. Luckily, the flight crew managed to calm everyone down and the rest of the flight continued without further incident. But let's be real, folks. Nobody wants to deal with that kind of drama at 30,000 feet. Okay, everyone, this next story is a reminder that sometimes life throws you a curveball even at 30,000 feet. We're talking about a sudden medical emergency that turned a routine flight into a race against time. Picture this. You're on a long-haul flight, maybe reading a book or catching some Z's, when suddenly you hear a frantic call for help. A passenger is in distress, their face pale, their breathing labored. It's clear that something is seriously wrong. The flight attendants rush to their side, their training kicking in as they assess the situation. They call for any medical professionals on board, their voices echoing through the silent cabin. And wouldn't you know it, a hero emerges. A doctor, a nurse, maybe even a veterinarian. Hey, in a pinch, we'll take what we can get. Steps forward to offer their assistance. The makeshift medical team works tirelessly, monitoring vital signs, providing comfort, and doing everything in their power to stabilize the passenger. The plane becomes a flying hospital, the tension palpable as everyone holds their breath, hoping and praying for a miracle. The pilot makes the call. An emergency landing is necessary. The plane changes course, racing against time to get the passenger the medical attention they desperately need. It's a tense situation, but thanks to the quick thinking of the crew and the bravery of the medical professionals on board, the passenger receives the help they need. It's a reminder that even in the most unexpected of places, there are everyday heroes among us, ready to step up when duty calls. Alright folks, who here has seen the movie Sully? Yeah, you know the one, Tom Hanks, emergency landing on the Hudson River, the whole shebang. Well, this next story is about a bird strike that thankfully didn't end up in a water landing, but it was still pretty darn terrifying. Imagine this, you're on a plane just taking off when suddenly you hear a loud thud! The plane shudders violently and you can hear gasps and screams from the passengers around you. What was that? A flock of birds just collided with the engine. I'm not talking about your average pigeon here, folks. We're talking big birds, maybe even a goose or two. The engine sputters and smokes, and you can smell the acrid scent of jet fuel filling the cabin. Panic sets in as people realize the gravity of the situation. The captain, cool as a cucumber, gets on the intercom and assures everyone that they have the situation under control. But you can hear the tension in his voice, the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The plane circles around, preparing for an emergency landing. The minutes feel like hours as you wait with bated breath, hoping and praying that everything will be okay. Finally, the plane touches down on the runway, a collective sigh of relief sweeping through the cabin. Everyone erupts in applause, thanking their lucky stars that they're safe on the ground. It's a stark reminder that even in the age of modern aviation, Mother Nature can still throw a wrench in our plans. Alright folks, we've all been there. Stuck on a plane, delayed on the tarmac, watching the minutes turn into hours. But this next story takes airport delays to a whole new level of frustrating. We're not talking about your average run-of-the-mill delay here, folks. This was a delay of epic proportions, a delay that would test the patience of even the most seasoned traveler. Imagine this. You're all set to jet off to your dream vacation, you've got your boarding pass, you've said goodbye to your loved ones, you're practically smelling the pina coladas already. But then, the dreaded announcement comes over the loudspeaker. Attention passengers, we are experiencing a slight delay due to... And you can practically hear the eye rolls of everyone in the gate area. No problem, you think, a slight delay is manageable. But little did you know, this slight delay would turn into an hours-long ordeal, trapping you inside the metal tube with nothing but stale air and your increasingly grumpy fellow passengers. The air conditioning starts to sputter, the snacks run out, and the bathroom line stretches longer than the security line at TSA. People are getting restless, tempers are flaring, and the air is thick with the stench of desperation. You try to distract yourself with a book, a movie, maybe even a desperate attempt at a nap, but there's no escaping the reality of the situation. You're stuck. Finally, after what feels like an eternity, the plane starts to move. But the ordeal isn't over yet. Oh no, because now you're stuck in a seemingly endless line of planes, all waiting for their turn to take off. By the time you finally reach your destination, you're exhausted, hangry, and ready to swear off air travel forever. Alright folks, this last story is a classic for a reason. It's the travel nightmare we all dread, the one that can turn that vacation excitement into pure frustration lost luggage. Picture this. You've just landed after a long flight, you're tired, you're hungry, and all you want to do is get to your hotel and relax. You stroll up to the baggage carousel, eager to reunite with your trusty suitcase, but as the carousel goes round and round, your heart sinks. Where is it? You scan the faces of your fellow passengers, all going through the same ritual of anticipation and disappointment. The carousel comes to a stop, and your luggage is nowhere to be found. Panic starts to set in as the reality of the situation hits you. Your luggage is lost. You try to stay calm as you navigate the labyrinthine world of baggage claim customer service, filling out endless forms and explaining the contents of your missing bag in excruciating detail. They promise to track down your luggage and deliver it to your hotel, but you're not holding your breath. You're left to start your vacation with nothing but the clothes on your back and a sinking feeling in your stomach. Lost luggage, folks. It's the ultimate travel buzzkill. But hey, at least you have a story to tell, right? And there you have it, folks, the 7 worst situations passengers faced on planes. I hope you enjoyed this wild ride through the ups and downs of air travel. Remember, next time you're feeling stressed out at the airport or dealing with a delayed flight, just think of these stories and be thankful that you're not living through them. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Safe travels.